New products, delays, and product availability issues still are being a huge issue within 2025, and it asks the question, when will the situation for Pokemon cards begin to heal? Though for some great news, I'm actually giving away this awesome Baxcalibur illustration rare. Now, if I reply to your comment with the Squirtle emoji, then well done, this card is coming your way. And hey, if you are a first-time viewer, definitely feel free to subscribe to the channel. My name's Phil, and I cover a lot of topics around Pokemon TCG and market updates. It's always amazing seeing new people on board. Though the shift for Pokemon cards right now is becoming a bit of a hot topic, with a lot of collectors thinking prices should be calming down right now, though it seems the reverse is actually happening. And it also doesn't help that we're approaching the winter period and the festive season for, Europe and US. And during this period, it traditionally makes Pokemon cards spike in price. I mean, a quick look at winter periods and we can see prices always start climbing up, and we don't actually know why this is. I mean, just out of speculation, it kind of makes you wonder, do people just like collecting more when they're at home? Like, is that something that's just preferred for collectors? Is it a cozy thing? Is it because people aren't maybe traveling that much or going away that they're, using that money on Pokemon cards? Who knows? Maybe selling isn't that common during the winter period. Who knows at this point, but I just want to go over some cards right now to show you what we're going through at the moment. All right, so here we are on the Charizard from Paldean Fates. Now, as you can see on this graph right here, it has really been climbing in price lately. Now, there's obviously a few reasons for this, and I think the big reason why the price rise has been so big just as of late is because of the Bubble Mew, which is also from Paldean Fates. When you really think about it, right, with Paldean Fates, there's like 3 or 4 special illustration rares in the whole set that are really worth chasing, and of course, the Bubble Mew takes the top position, and this Charizard is in the second spot. Now, what's really interesting about Paldean Fates is that when it came out, the Charizard was obviously in the top position. It was the most beloved card, and then Bubble Mew took over. But if we look at the price right now, check this one out. Selling for $159 in June of this year, currently selling for $233. So it's really done a big price hike. In fact, I think that's one of the highest prices it's had in a very long time. There you go. When I pulled it into the graph, you can see the last time it was even on a similar price to that was in January of this year, where it hit a high point of $217. Really interesting movements for this card. I do imagine that it was probably under the radar for a while. When I'm looking at Paldean Fates booster bundles and Paldean Fates booster packs, they're definitely far more expensive now than they were before. It's a really interesting time in the market for these cards in particular, and I think the Charizard from Paldean Fates is definitely one to keep an eye out on. Moving on to the Charizard from Obsidian Flames, just looking in the last 3 months, really had some big price growth, selling for $57 in June of this year, and you can see just recently, now it's selling for $111. Very easy pull rates for Obsidian Flames. If you're wondering why this Charizard isn't really on the price points for a lot of other Charizards, it's because of the easy pull rates, right? Obsidian Flames has the easiest pull rates out of any mainline set for Scarlet and Violet era, and of course, some of the special illustration rares in the set you can find for under $5, like the Reveroom. Considering this is a special illustration rare, and of course it is a Charizard, there's always going to be a market for it, so it's definitely a one to look out for at the moment. Now, if we're talking about undervalued cards, the one undervalued card right now is definitely the Gigantamax Charizard VMAX from the Charizard UPC that released in 2022. If you're asking me about a card that currently is lagging behind, especially because this is a promo card and it's from such an iconic UPC, definitely a beloved UPC, it's this Charizard right here. Check this out, in the last 3 months, selling for $18, went up to $29, back to $23, right now at 30 USD. Now, yeah, 30 USD for one card is definitely a good price, but considering how old the Charizard UPC is, I definitely feel this one is probably a little bit underrated at this point. But that's a Charizard card for, 30 USD, and considering how much other promo cards have risen in price, this one for me, for some reason, seems a little bit undervalued. I'm definitely keen to hear your thoughts on that, but considering how loved the Charizard UPC is, considering that it's pretty old at this point as well, it's approaching 3 years old, it's definitely an interesting one to look out for right now. Now, of course, the new Japanese sets that have released, Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia. Mega Brave is definitely desired at the moment, currently selling for $96 a booster box. The whole golden mega cards within Mega Brave and Symphonia, the Lucario and Gardevoir, they're really selling for some high price points, so there's a lot of demand for Japanese products at the moment. Same thing when we're looking at at Mega Symphonia, you can see right now selling for $77. So of course, the Mega Brave booster box is definitely the more desired booster box at this stage. It's going to be really cool to see what happens going forward because of course we know a lot of people are entering the Japanese market as we speak. Now, Japanese Pokemon cards are a huge love for collectors right now as they are much easier to purchase than English cards for reasonable prices. And if you do want to buy Japanese Pokemon cards, that does bring me to today's video sponsor, which is Bai. So with Bai, you can actually grab items from places like Rakuten and Amazon Japan and many others, plus you can have them shipped straight right to your doorstep no matter where you live. Bai is actually very easy to use. You can just type in what you're after. For example, searching Pokemon cards or even searching the brand new Japanese sets like Mega Symphonia or Mega Brave. And once you make a purchase, Bai handles everything from the package consolidation to the secure packing and the international shipping. Now what's awesome is that Bai ships worldwide to many countries and regions, including North America, Europe, and Oceania. So that means you can actually get exclusive Japanese products that usually never make it overseas, whether that's hard to find Pokemon cards or other items. Now the best part is, if you're a first-time user, you can actually grab an exclusive 10% discount by using my link in the description. A huge thanks to Bai for sponsoring this video and helping collectors everywhere. Now let's get back into the video. Now I was mentioning the Charizard promo, and there has been promo card hype recently. Interesting promo cards to look out for are Pokemon Center stamped promos. Now if you don't know how Pokemon Center stamped exclusive work, it's actually really cool. There is an official Pokemon Center store, and on the Pokemon Center store, which is the only place that they officially sell these, you can actually buy Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes. Now the big caveat is they have a few more booster packs inside, but of course they have 2 promo cards inside. They have a regular promo and also a promo comes with an exclusive Pokemon Center stamp. Now these Pokemon Center stamped exclusive promos sell for really high amounts. One that I'm looking for, which is currently under the radar, is the Teal Mask Ogerpon Pokemon Center stamped promo, which is in the Twilight Masquerade ETB, the Pokemon Center version. Selling for $16 in June, right now selling for $20. To be fair, considering it is a Pokemon Center stamped promo, it's definitely a pretty good price at this stage, but some really interesting things are happening with Pokemon Center stamped exclusives. We can see here the Pikachu from Paldea Evolved, check this one out, selling for $67 in July, right now selling for 100 US, which is pretty insane seeing such big price growth. When we pull this into the year graph, you can see the previous high it had was 116, then it fell all the way down to $66, and now it's on its way back up. I do imagine with how in demand Pokemon Center exclusive cards are, there is a chance that this could continue rising. Now, one that everyone's talking about is the Charmander from Obsidian Flames. Check this one out. Selling for $94 in June of this year. Right now selling for $213 for a raw copy. Probably a little bit too quick, too soon, this one. Even though it is, yes, from a Pokemon Center exclusive ETB, I do think that price growth is a little bit too volatile for my liking, and I don't like seeing price spikes that quickly. I'm not saying that it's going to come down, but just traditionally when we look at cards that spike that quickly, it's just something that you should look at cautiously. A lot of newcomers and a lot of people that are just, entering the hobby, they jump really quickly when they see something like that. It's a really good idea to take a step back, just see how it goes, and if it stays at that price point and you really want the card, then consider it. But right now, that price spike to me looks a little bit too quick, too soon. So interestingly, some to actually look out for, and I feel like they're a little bit under the radar, the Koraidon Pokemon Center, which is from the Scarlet and Violet base ETBs, the split ETBs. You can see right here, selling for $70 in June, currently selling for 51 USD. Definitely a little bit under the radar considering it's approaching 3 years old. Same thing with the Miraidon as well. We can see selling for $77 in March of this year. Right now selling for $51 as well. So definitely these two in particular. I definitely think they're a pretty good price point at the moment considering that, those exclusive ETBs are definitely approaching to be quite old as well. And, seeing these price points for these exclusive cards, definitely cool ones to add to your collection if you do collect Pokemon Center stamped exclusives. Now, sealed products are definitely going through their own kind of price rise at the moment. Fusion Strike is just going bananas, dude. It is literally going so high in price. Check this out. Selling for $719 in July of this year, and right now selling for $912. It looks like Fusion Strike is about to be $1,000 booster box, which is wild, man, because last year, I remember early last year, I'm talking like January, I remember seeing this for such cheap prices. And, if I pull this into the 6 months, you can see it was selling for around $483 in April of this year. In April, a lot of people thought that was expensive, including myself. Now it's doubled. And, it's likely as well, like a lot of people are looking at that price point right now at 900 and think, wow, it's so expensive. But you know, with how older booster boxes go and how much they kind of increase quite quickly, there could be a chance that next year we're looking at this and it's also doubled in price. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but just how booster boxes work and sealed product, it's kind of bizarre, dude. And to me, this is kind of like, it's kind of weird to think about because I opened so much Fusion Strike. I didn't think anything of it. And now when I look at price points of 900 USD, pretty much $1,000 a booster box or nearly close to that point, I'm just thinking, wow, this is getting quite bizarre. Same thing with Chill and Rain. Just look in the last 3 months how much it's grown. Selling for 410 US in July of this year. Right now, Chill and Rain selling for 554. I do find it interesting that Chilling Rain's far behind Fusion Strike. I suppose the Gengar really pulls Fusion Strike up to another level, but still, I think the Blaziken from Chill and Rain's an awesome chase. So it is interesting to see that it's pretty much not exactly half the price of Fusion Strike, but you know, pretty close to that point anyway. So it's kind of cool to see that one. I wonder where it's going to go in the next few months. And of course, a very beloved set, Lost Origin, selling for around $491 in July and now selling for $796, pretty much 800 US. Definitely cool to see these Sword and Shield booster boxes going up. But you know, that's the wild thing about Pokemon investing. It's when you see things like that because it really performs wildly. And that's the crazy thing about sealed product. It just can have this insane growth so quickly. I mean, if I pull this into the year graph, you can see that last year around this time, you know, Lost Origin was selling for $205 a booster box. To go from $205 to $800 in a year is pretty significant growth. So it's definitely an interesting time to be looking at these products. But as much as these changes are taking place, I suppose there's some bigger questions relating to the instability of the hobby. Like it seems every other day we talk about the massive swings of the Pokemon hobby, but what actually always stays the same? A lot of people wonder, sure, things change, but what are some rules about Pokemon cards and collecting that are always timeless? Well, I reveal that in this video here. Within this video that's currently appearing on screen, I go over the 7 timeless rules of Pokemon investing and collecting. If you loved this video and you enjoyed it, feel free to click the video that's appearing on screen, and I'll see you on the next video.